Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Lessons in Life, or I should say, my lessons in life. Because while it's not all about me, I can only talk about my experiences here. So welcome to my channel. I talk about various different things that I've learned over the years, and I hope to pass on to other people. While I am no preacher or psychologist or lawyer or any of that. I'm just a guy, person that's lived life, and I've done some studying, and I just hope to give you a little bit of wisdom that I've learned over the years. So it's just advice. Take it, leave it, do what with it you will. Today's talk, I'm going to talk about the Tao Te Ching by Lao-tzu. Now, some of you may not have heard of it. Some of you may have heard of it. He wrote 2,500 years ago. He wrote 81 verses that he thought were important to life. And today I'm going to read verse 30 for you. Not the whole thing. I'm going to read a little bit of it. And I'm going to pull some information from Dr. Wayne Dyer's book. I don't know if you can read that. Okay? Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. He has some very, very interesting things to talk about in this book. And I haven't even finished it, but I'm close to it. But verse 30, I thought was very pertinent to today's life. And all the stuff that's going on between the pandemic, between riot, between politics, and just the stress of everyday life. So I thought this would be a good topic to discuss today. So let me jump right into it, and then I'll talk a little bit and give credit after I talk. Okay, so let's jump right in. So I'm just going to read a couple of stanzas. I'm not going to read the whole thing. One who would guide a leader of men in the uses of life will warn him against the use of arms for conquest. Weapons often turn upon the wielder. Now I'm going to skip a stanza. Matter of fact, I'm going to skip two. I'm going to go right to the end. You must never think of conquering others by force. Whatever strains with force will soon decay. It is not attuned to the way. Not being attuned to the way, its end comes all too soon. Now, this is called the Tao Te Ching. Now, the Tao can be interpreted as God, Spirit, the void, Japanese like to say. It can be interpreted in other different things, but it's about spirituality in some shape or form. God, if you will. That's the way I kind of interpret it. But it's a little bit different in his interpretation. He calls it the way. Okay? The way of God. You can think of it that way. There is a way with God, and I truly believe that all the major religions are trying to get to this path. If you will, there are many paths leading up to the mountaintop. I truly believe that they're all trying to do the same thing. Some may do it better than others, but there are people who believe that path, whether it may be. But I've always thought that no matter which path you choose, it should be a path of peace and love and self-empowerment, but not at the expense of anyone else. It should be about self-service. So I'm no leader, okay? The one who would guide a leader of men in the uses of life. Okay? I'm no leader. But I advise my grandchildren when I can, when they will listen. Sometimes they choose not to, but that's their choice. Will warn him against the use of arms for conquest. He's saying not to go to war, for weapons will often turn upon the wielder. It's kind of like karma, what goes around comes around. I truly believe that. I truly believe that. I've seen it happen to me time and time again. Sometimes the bad things came around because I was not in harmony with the way, with God, with the path. But the times that I was closer to being in harmony, I had so many good things happen to me in life that I can't even express them all. But when you do good, despite any circumstances, they will come back around to you. It's kind of like the adage, if you have a gun, yeah, you can use it for self-defense and all of that, or a knife. But what if it gets taken away from you? Now it's a weapon that can be used against you. Well, the same thing of anger, of violence, of hatred, all of that against your fellow person can be turned back against you. If you do your best to stop those thoughts and think more peaceful thoughts, no matter how the person may be towards you, if you think better thoughts of them, things change. The whole situation can change. Let me give you, for instance, I've talked about the story to friends and family many times. I was what they call a counter manager at a stereo store at the time. And a lot of times I had to handle irate customers. They would put in a piece of equipment for repair and hadn't been back, they hadn't heard anything, and they would come in and they'd be stinging. First thing I would say to them, look, I didn't do the order, and I'm not a repairman. But if you calm down and give me your information, I'll look into it and do my best to help you. So by me being calm, despite their anger, usually calmed them down, at least a bit. They might have been still upset, but at least they calmed down enough to where, okay, well, this is the information I have. I have this equipment, here's my ticket, or I don't know where the ticket is, but here's my information, whatever it may be. And most of the time, I would say, well, let me go look it up, and I go look it up, oh, it's in the back, here it is, or it's not back yet, there might be a problem. I will call them and find out what's going on. They're waiting for a part, they sent the wrong part, they're waiting for another one, whatever it may be. But most of the time I was able to calm the people down. And I've worked at music stores. I was a manager at a music store for many years. And sometimes people would get upset about, oh, I don't owe for another lesson, or this and that. And I thought, hey, I'm looking at the book, it got marked. It marked that you used your last lesson, whatever. I ordered something, it's not in. Sorry, it was out of stock. We're ordering it, it'll be here in a couple of weeks, whatever. But I didn't get upset with them. So I always found that if I remained calm, I'm not saying it didn't irk me inside, but if I remained calmer, then things got resolved much better. And somebody would get really, really upset. I remember one time another manager was handling the store, and I just happened to be there, and a customer was really upset about this new tire that came in. It had scratches on it, da 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 da. They were all upset about it, and the way the other manager was handling it, I didn't think it was too cool. I didn't want it was a receipt of some kind, and I would have, hey, you turn this in for repair, here you go, that kind of a thing. But they didn't want to, give them anything in written form. I understand if the guy wants. I would want it too. So, that ended up being a real sticky situation that eventually got resolved. I don't remember how, but because that was their thing, and I went on to other customers. So those are just two little things that I think, in life. He goes on to say, you must never think of conquering others by force. Whatever restrains with force will soon decay. Think of it this way. If I go into a store all heated about something, and I jump down the guy's throat, even though it may not, he didn't make it, he doesn't set policy, whatever it may be. Even on the phone, if I jump all over the person from the get-go, they're going to shut down and not want to help me. They're going to go buy the buck. But if I call up and say, look, I got a problem. Can you help me with this? I'd like to get it resolved. This is the issue. What can we do about this? I've had people bend over backwards saying, look, let me talk to my manager. Maybe we can, or my supervisor. Maybe we can, get this resolved this way. Or, gee, I can't help with that, but, let me turn you over to this guy. Maybe he can help, or whatever it may be. But boy, it was much easier, on my dear old heart, my blood pressure and all of that, to handle things much nicer that way than getting all upset about it. Okay? Not being attuned to the way, its end comes all too soon. That's very much true. I went into a garage. I was getting oil change. And a lady comes in. She's all hot and bothered. Why is not my car ready? She climbed all over this poor manager. He said, I'm sorry, just not ready. You want to call your cab? It'll be ready, a couple more hours. It's taking a long time. You got problems. She was like, so upset with him. I was like, how do you know? Okay. Take you in right away. Don't worry about it. I'll get you done right away. I didn't climb all over them. I had it done like that. Different attitudes. Give me an attitude, I'll give it back to you. I'll go buy the book, or I'm a manager. I can bend things a little bit, good or bad. It doesn't always help in situations when you're dealing on a personal basis to get all upset with people. Especially right now. I know, we're all stressed out about this pandemic. The school's coming up in another month or so for a lot of people, and they're really getting worried about their kids. Send them to school, don't send them to school. What is the school going to do to keep them safe? What can't they do? Virtual, not virtual? Sorry, I don't have the answers. As I can say is keep yourself and your kids as safe as possible, but don't get so worried about it, so upset about it, that you take it out on another person that doesn't have any control over the situation. I mean, if they have control of the situation, don't get upset with them because they have control of the situation. Hello. A little bit more. Now, Dr. Dyer, excuse me, um, does his own interpretation. He did a lot of studying various different interpretations of Tao Te Ching. And one of his things is eliminate verbal and or physical force in all situations. Now, isn't that a tall order? But sometimes it feels like you want to fight back. Yes, I understand that need. I don't talk about this publicly very much, but I'll mention a little bit. I saw a kid getting beat up by an older man. So I stopped my truck and I get out just to find out the situation. This guy was drunk in his car. He was ripped. I don't know what he was all ripped about. There were a whole bunch of kids there, but he was not happy with this one kid. So I get out of the truck, I walk over, and he starts jumping down my throat right away. What are you doing here? You don't need to be here. Get out of here. He goes on swearing at me on this. I'm not getting upset. I'm not getting angry back at him. I was upset at the situation, but it just got my adrenaline going. And I just simply said to him, I'm going to check on him. This guy took some swings at me, and I just brush him off. And he goes flying at one point. Doesn't get hurt, but he just, oh, like, yeah, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. You need to get out of here. I said, don't worry about me. Are you okay? Yes, I'm all right. I'll be all right. I'm just here to check on you. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. You got me. Okay. So the guy was, ow, oh boy, he was upset. Because he never laid a punch. Was like, he was ready to rock and roll. And I remember thinking, I don't want to escalate this. I want to keep it as calm as possible. So I stood there and he landed a punch on my chest. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I get in my truck, I punches the window, and I drive off. I went to the police station and reported it. I thought it was a good thing to do. And because I didn't know what was going on, and a couple of weeks later, I get a call from some lawyer, some judicial lawyer, saying, you got your statement, and detectives have gone to this guy's house, and he started trying to hit them, and they ended up arresting him. Would you press charges? And I was like, well, I don't really want to. You don't have to go to court. We have your deposition already. You have your statement and all that. I said, look, I just want this guy to get some help. He really needs some help. And they were like, yeah, we do too. And this is how we have to go do it, unfortunately. In order to get him help, we have to be able to arrest him and get him into some sort of anger management addiction program. I went, okay. But because I remained calm, the situation didn't escalate past the point of his escalation. I kept below that. But if I started retaliating, punching back, and putting him in all kinds of holds or throwing him or whatever it may be, I could have done so many different things, but I didn't, because I didn't want to escalate the situation. I didn't want to end up in violence that was worse than it already was. That's the way. That's the way. God. My belief. Take it as you will. Dr. Dyer goes on to say, refuse to participate in violent actions in any way. Another tall order. He's even talking about not watching violence on TV. You turn on almost any show, and there's some kind of violence or abuse or something going on. Even some of the comedies, supposedly, it may not be slapstick like Days of Old, but sometimes there's this verbal stuff that goes on, and it's still verbal violence, if you will. You look at any show like Law and Order and NCIS, and while I might enjoy some of those shows, I've come to realize that there's some violence in there. At least some of the shows I watch, it seems like they're only retaliating because they have to, not because they want to. At least that's what I tell myself. But I'm watching less and less television these days. My wife watches a lot of contest shows, I call them. They're almost reality shows, but they're, dance shows and singing shows and the birds and all of that. I commend her for that. There's no violence on there. There is drama and tension and all of that and excitement, but at least it's not violence. So he's saying try to eliminate violence as much as possible in your life. Don't participate in it. Don't have anything to do with it. This is a poem by St. John of the Cross. I'm going to read it to you because I think it really pertinent in today's world. Where there's absolute violence being perpetrated all over the world, and it doesn't have to be. You might quiet the whole world for a second if you pray. And if you really love, the guns will wilt. I understand protesters wanting to get their message out, but they're not happy. I'm absolutely hip to that. And I agree with a lot of what they say. But when they start any type of looting or destruction of property, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with the police overstepping their authority. That's the only word I can use. Their authority, their power, and hurting protesters when it doesn't have to be. Yes, you want to stop violence. But if somebody's not being violent, then what are you stopping? The protesting, which is guaranteed under the United States Constitution. Well, folks, I understand wanting to protect what's yours. Although all this stuff is temporary. Everything in the world belongs to God. It doesn't belong to us. He created it. It's His. A carpenter creates a beautiful table. Well, he didn't make the wood. He just transformed it into something else. He did not grow a tree. He didn't command that seed to grow into a mighty oak. So, while we have creative spirits and we can tap into the creative world, whether it be music, art, carpentry, plumbing, what have you. There could be creativity in just about anything that I think. We don't create any of that. It didn't come from us. It came through us. All this stuff around us is just temporary. And yes, I know you want to protect your loved ones. And I understand that. But don't do it to the point where you threaten someone else before they threaten you. Watch out for you and yours. I understand that. I have kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, family. And I would love to be able to just constantly protect them from the world. You really can't, but you do your best. You worry about them. You care about them. And yes, you should care about people around you and not berate them, not act in violent ways towards them in any way, shape, or form. Only encourage. Positive encouragement, never negative encouragement. Negative encouragement doesn't help. Hey, somebody does wrong, you point it out and say, that really wasn't right. You could have done better. How can we help you do better? Participate in their struggles. I have a grandson that's going through a lot of struggles right now. And we try to support him the best we can. It's tough because he's old enough to make his own decisions. You gotta let him. You can only advise. That's what we do. Help him and advise. But I never tear him down. Absolutely not. No matter what he's done, I never tear him down. I can say I'm not happy with that decision. It was your decision. I'm not happy with it. I don't condone it. But it's your life. This is where it's got you. What do you think? We'll wise up someday. I know I was rather naive. Did a lot of stupid things in my young age. I still do. I don't know if I've learned enough. But I'm trying. So I hope you try too. So real quickly, this is going on a lot longer than I expected. Bring peace into your life as best you can. I meditate every day. Try to bring peace to myself so I can pour it out. I want to give it away. The more I give it away, the more I get. It's amazing that way. It's absolutely amazing. The more you give, the more you get. The more I serve my family, the more they give back. Not always the way I see. Sometimes you think, it'll come around. It may take some time, but it'll come around. Be patient. So everyone on the front lines, God bless you. Be careful, be safe, be well. Everybody out there, take care of your family, take care of everybody you see. Be careful with them. Be gentle with them. Be safe. Be well. Be healthy. Be happy. Be loved. Thank you for watching this channel. Thank you for participating. If this means anything to you, please subscribe below. Hit the notification button and you'll know when the new videos pop up. I really do appreciate the few people that have watched this so far. Maybe someday people will watch more. It's up there. Namaste. God bless you all. To the God inside.